What up, nerds, and welcome to another Raging Alpha episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 533, recorded Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. Tonight, we are talking about a brand new release. The movie is 28 years later. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Randeezy. What's up?
Coming at you!
What's going on, buddy? We got a long time gap to cover here. We got to bring everybody up to speed. What's been going on for fucking 26 and some odd years?
It's a lot
whatever
of years.
the math is after 28 months or 28 weeks, whatever the fuck. It is weeks, isn't it?
It's weeks.
28
Weeks,
years.
days. Yeah, they skip
27
months.
plus years.
Who knows?
Yeah, fuck it. We're not here to do the math. We're here to do the recap.
This movie's old enough to party, and that's all that really matters. Okay?
I think that is made abundantly clear by the movie itself.
Indeed. Last but not
This
least,
is a party film.
calling in from South Korea, we got your boy, Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Samson Staines. Flex it out there a little bit. A scooch. Ooh, behind the scenes.
You gotta flex it out there.
It's amazing how you can string like 8 thoughts into a non-sentence like that. Ooh, stretch it out. Oh, just a scotch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Behind the
Ooh,
scenes.
ladies. Ooh.
Like free association. Ooh, pineapple upside down cake. Ooh,
That's how I live my life.
For the boys.
Free
the boys-
association.
The boys can have a gander if they want to, you know. This is
Oh, yeah. Anybody can look, really.
Wow.
Looking's free.
if you pay the troll toll, of course.
Which we all know what that is, that we won't say on here. Boys, talking about zombies once again, brand new release. Before we get into it, we got a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Here is your final reminder. We do have our July poll currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this July. The theme for July, which is my takeover month, by the way, is 1985. We got 3 zombie films from 1985 on there for you to vote between. They are Reanimator, Day of the Dead, and Return of the Living Dead.
Whoa, Bob. Last week of June 2025. How are those numbers looking?
Somehow, the last week already. Slightly shifted once again. Return of the Living Dead is still in first place with a slight bump up to 48% of the vote. And second place is still a dead heat between Reanimator and Day of the Dead, both sitting at 26% of the vote.
Whoa. All right. Well, some fun flicks either way. So
Yeah,
we're
it's
in for a
like,
treat.
Yeah.
barring some chicanery from the voting populace, it sounds like we might have a pretty clear winner here.
Yeah, perhaps. There's just a few days left for you to vote. Get those votes in before the end of the month, and we'll see what we're talking about this July. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini-casts every other Friday. We just had one drop last Friday on Dangerous Animals, which is kind of a hybrid shark serial killer kind of flick out of Australia, who, by the way, has been
The shark
killing
is
it.
a serial killer.
Jaws.
Yes.
Okay.
Jaws is like popping up in people's garages and shit.
Surprise, bitch! Bites your head off. Oh, God. It's crazy how that giant animal can sneak up on you like that.
They're
Crazy,
so
you know?
sneaky.
I know. Not in the
Science is
ocean
incredible.
either. It's wild.
It's got little robot legs.
Yeah.
I feel like we're circling onto something that could be sold to sci-fi here. Let's bite our tongues and
Whoa.
save it for the boardrooms.
Bite your tongue. Yeah, you can check that out over on Patreon. And if you guys do sign up on Patreon at the $10 level or above, you get access to over 150 bonus episodes on there for you right now. You can listen to those on Patreon or on your podcatcher of choice. So
That's more than most regular podcasts.
that is
so.
true. That is...
We certainly make up for quality with quantity.
You know what? When we finally retire, maybe we'll release all those episodes to Wild, so we'll still have like 4 years worth of content to release just by doing nothing.
Slowly just dropping them out on the regular feed. Yeah.
By then, we'll just be like AI voices chatbotting ourselves.
That's true. So then it will just keep continue on anyways.
I mean, when we're
I've already
do
on,
anything.
you guys can't tell, but this is just a very, very convincing AI chatbot, of course.
The robots are just doing the show now. Don't even worry about it. And they comment on
we have
themselves
opinions.
so that you don't become suspicious of the situation.
When we started this podcast, we had no idea that we were just creating, AI generated things against our will. So, but it's out there now. I
totally remember way back when we started this podcast when memory not found.
Hell yeah. Check out all those mini casts on Patreon right now. Last bit of Patreon news. We are going to be reopening the You Pick the Flick tier one more time this year.
The coveted.
You Pick the
Very
Flick.
coveted.
The picks were so good this year, we had to change the rules.
To severely limit them in the
That's
future.
how you know these are definitely AI chatbots, because it does not quite have Juice's tenor on this topic down.
This is the only way you guys can outright pick a movie for us to review on the show. We typically open this once a quarter with 5 spots per quarter. We're changing it up a little bit. We're going to be reopening this one more time on the 1st of July, and that has 6 spots available for the rest of the year. So this is your last chance for romance, guys. Put it on the calendar.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Mm-hmm. And as always, that might be the last time, you get a chance to do this. You never know what's going to happen,
These picks might just be so good that they can't be beat, so we never do it ever again. Maybe.
It might be so good that they start an international war. Who knows?
Damn.
Those
It was all our fault.
Yep, we did it.
It's all our fault, per usual. So mark your calendars again, July 1st. You Pick the Flick tier opens once more, 6 spots. That's all I got. Do you guys have anything you want to plug?
Not today.
I am contractually obligated to mention my primary podcast at least once a month, which is, of course, Don't Believe the Hype, the Arctic Monkeys.
They made you sign a contract? Loser!
Well, I mean, they pay me, so.
Sure.
Big whoop.
Sure.
But yes, this week we have Arabella coming out, which is the 4th track off of AM, and is a big single, big fan favorite. So if you want to hear me jaw on,
Is that a fan favorite?
It is, but you know what, Bob? There might be a bit of controversy on this episode. I mean, you might be echoing my opinions, which are not the major fan base's opinions. So.
Are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
Are you?
Usually. Yeah, I don't love that track. I don't love that record, honestly, but that track is not one of my favorites.
Well, Bob, you might want to listen to this episode then.
Bullshit. Derivative.
It's a bit derivative.
Is my boy representing? Ooh, all right. Love to
Representation
see that.
stains. That's what we've always called them.
Love to see it.
That's what I stand for. I stand for representation,
Sure, yeah. For the haters. I represent the haters.
Everyone knows.
Hi.
Kind of, yeah.
Hi. Cool. Well, yeah, check that shit out. If you're an Arctic Monkeys fan or just a music fan in general, check
Or
it
a
out.
Soju fan.
If you
Just
want it,
love listening to my voice.
if you love hearing him bitch,
My sultry voice.
check it out. The kids love it. Randy, you squeaky?
Oh, I'm so squeaky. And if you are too, we're going to get this house clean.
Yeah, let's wax it.
This house is clean.
You don't wax a house. You just don't. You don't do that.
I do. I wax my house
I
because
wasn't
it's
going to
got
question
wheels.
you, but nobody in our generation knows what it's like to own a home. So,
That's right. Yeah.
I sleep in the back of the El Camino. So I wax my home.
Just no roof. Like, don't just
Free spirit, sleeping under the stars.
never heard of
pick
tarp,
the one
Rob?
car
Come
that
on.
doesn't have a roof.
Cruising around Seoul, South Korea, and El Camino.
Oh man,
Jesus, that's
just represent. Just represent.
I'm all
gotta
about
represent.
representation.
We are talking
people
about
in South Korea have no idea what you're representing, but you sure are representing it.
something.
America, obviously.
The El Camino.
Yeah. Is it a truck? Is it a car? It's just a
You can't represent
boat.
America. It's not an American.
It's a melting pot of a vehicle. We're talking about 28 years later, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Oh, there's some pups. Ooh. I miss pups. so
Behind the
bad.
scenes, little puppy dog. Puppy dog. action.
Bob,
Okay.
how quick you gonna pre-order this box? You gotta have the whole collection, am I right?
I might not be in a huge hurry to
Restraint, you say?
I represent
Wow.
restraint.
I don't believe that.
You do
That's a lie.
They call me.
We've
Restraint
already
Bob.
crossed over the honesty
No.
threshold pretty hard.
They don't call you that ever. No one's ever
I
called
don't
you
know.
Bobby Restraint is what they call me.
I call bullshit on that.
restraining order from Best Buy.
He just
The man
keeps
just
coming. He just
lingers outside waiting for the blues.
He's
We're
begging
closed,
for change.
Bob. It's
Every-
3 a.m.
He hangs
for
out by the
God's
dumpsters
sake.
asking to suck my dick for a blue.
God damn. It's like every day's Black Friday. He just camps out constantly.
It's not rewarding to just pay for it anymore. I got to find crazy ways to get them.
Because I'm, practiced in my restraint. I'm very measured.
Oh, that's
I'm a measured man. 28 years later, this not out for pre-order yet, but I'm sure like tomorrow it will be. Brand new release, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes. This was written by Alex Garland and directed by Danny Boyle, which are the pair that brought us 28 Days Later. And this stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ralph Fiennes. It's like his name is Ralph, but people say like Ray Fiennes.
Yeah, Ray
right?
Fiennes. That is true. Yeah, but it says Ralph.
It says Ralph. Yeah, that always
That's
trips
really
me up.
strange.
Because I can't call him Ralph.
I call him R. Fines.
Yeah,
Mr. Fine.
Mr.
Try and keep it in
Fine as
phone book
hell.
terminology, like a grown-up.
Rocco Haynes as well, representing in this. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. A group of survivors of the rage virus live on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors. Gentlemen, brand new release, first time watch for all three of us here. Would you recommend folks at home check out 28 Days Later? Randy, why don't you kick us off?
I have been thinking about this question since I saw the movie, and
Haunted
I still
by it.
just don't think I know for sure. I think I'm just gonna go with my gut and say probably not, man. I don't think you need to see this.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I don't really know either, honestly. It is a somewhat cinematic experience, so I think it probably would be kind of cool to see in the theater, but also maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
All right.
Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out?
We got a no, a maybe. You gonna bring us around to a medium? Loose, Bob?
I don't really think I would recommend it. Like, wait for a stream, maybe, for it to hit HBO or Max or HBO Max or whatever the fuck they call it now. I don't know.
HBO.
Don't rush out. Just watch the original again. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Rachel's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. This one was interesting, and obviously we don't know exactly what to make of it. So we're going to talk about it at length, and here comes your spoiler warning right now.
Spoiler warning.
Whoa, Bob.
Ooh, hey.
Got that plot synopsis, buddy?
I got it right here. You ready
have
for
to
it?
fill in some holes for me.
Okay, I'll try. I'll try and fill all your holes for you.
It wouldn't be the first time.
But I'll do it with restraint. Here we go.
Oh God!
During the initial outbreak of the rage virus in this
That's not restraint, Bob.
in the Scottish Islands,
Slipped right on out.
it was
Irish.
the Scottish accent was taking over, and I just,
Irish.
Your Scottish blood, you know.
I don't know. What
The
I'm
luck of the
very
virus.
thick Scottish blood runs in these veins.
Kiss me. I'm Irish.
Put that on a shirt. Goddamn.
That's the next straight chillin' shirt right there.
The outbreak of the rage virus in the Scottish Highlands, a young boy named Jimmy is attacked by his infected family. He escapes to a nearby church where he finds his uninfected father, who's also the local priest. Believing the outbreak to be a sign of divine judgment, the priest reacts with religious rapture and interprets the virus to be the arrival of end times. He gives Jimmy a crucifix.
What a strange person.
A crucifix on a necklace and tells him to run. Accepting what he sees to be his fate, he allows himself to be overtaken and eaten by the infected, allowing young Jimmy to escape. We then jump 28 years later. At this moment in time, continental Europe has eradicated the virus, but the UK remains under an indefinite quarantine. Our main characters live in a small island community connected to the mainland only by a tidal causeway that's only accessible during low tide. Jamie is a scavenger on the island. His wife, Isla, is suffering from an unknown ailment, and they have a young son, about 12 years old. His name is Spike. Jamie takes his son for his first outing to the mainland a couple years early because he thinks he's ready for it. This is a standard coming-of-age ritual for the islanders. The rules state they can leave the island, they can come back to the island, but once they leave, nobody's going to come looking for them. They go, and Jamie kills one of the slower-moving zombies. He's a bit nervous and has trouble hitting the faster-moving zombies with his bow and arrow. They encounter what they call an alpha zombie, who is bigger and stronger and smarter than most of the other zombies. They hide out, and Spike sees a fire in the distance. His father just kind of dismisses it as being nothing. The two narrowly make it back to the island alive as the Alpha chases after them. They have a big party celebrating Spike's successful journey to the mainland. His father embellishes his accuracy, and they all get drunk. Spike sees his dad sexually embrace another woman. Spike goes back home and talks about the fire he saw with another islander. He's told the fire has been kept alive for years by a Dr. Kelson, who burns the bodies of the infected. Spike confronts his dad about his infidelity and lying about the doctor and the fire he saw. He then decides to take his sick mom to see the doctor on the mainland, and they leave the island unannounced. They almost get killed by zombies, but a young Swedish officer named Eric saves them. His boat has capsized offshore, and he is the only survivor. They encounter a pregnant zombie on a train, and Isla helps her give birth to a totally healthy, uninfected baby. Another Alpha appears and rips Eric's head off. He then chases the other two, and Dr. Kelson intervenes and sedates the Alpha with a morphine blow dart. They go back to his camp, and Kelson has erected a massive memorial made entirely out of human bones. In the center of it is a pyramid of skulls. He cleans Eric's skull, and they add it to the pile. Kelson then diagnosed Isla with cancer that is likely spread all over her body, including her brain, which explains her frequent confusion and nosebleeds. Kelson sedates Spike and explains there are many kinds of death, but the best kind is a peaceful death. He then euthanizes Isla and cleans her skull. He gives it to young Spike and says to add it to the pile of skulls and find the best place of all. He climbs to the very top and sets it down as the sun is rising. Kelson and Spike have another close call with another Alpha, but he is sedated yet again. Spike takes the infant back to the island and leaves it with a note explaining her name is Isla and where she came from. He also says he will come back home when he's ready. He goes back to the mainland and is chased by several fast-moving zombies. He's then rescued by a gang led by a man named Sir Jimmy, wearing a gold crucifix around his neck, given to him by his father in the first scene of the movie during the initial outbreak. Roll them credits.
You gotta have a sequel!
They already made it. You gotta have it, and they do have it. So,
you know what? I didn't realize you said earlier written by Alex Garland. I had no idea. But one of the main things I was gonna bring up today was this kind of, in some ways, reminded me of Men. not knowing Alex and not, I was going to say that not knowing Alex Garland was attached. Yeah. So it kind of reminded me of Min in that, like, it's got some very interesting, it takes a lot of swings.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of swings, and some of them are really weird and confusing and hard to figure out how they landed on that decision. But it's got like really good cinematography, really good acting or actors here, you know, and then there's just these weird choices that are confusing and hard
feel
to parse what's going
I don't
on.
know. For my money, like the kind of the core issue for me is that first of all, I did not remember in the moment until the very, very end that this is part of a trilogy. I just completely blocked that out of my memory entirely. So I was like, nothing felt resolved to me by the end of this movie. Like very little felt resolved.
Yeah.
And then it ended with this weird fucking MCU ass bullshit that really turned like a somber, like a somber situation, a somber movie into a fucking cartoon character.
I'm assembling a team.
Depository.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, what?
what the fuck is the tracksuit ninjas for real? Like fucking
it's like Kill
Viking
Bill
ass
or
tracksuit
something.
ninjas. That's what we're going with.
Strange choice, a strange way to end this movie. I found
And
myself
it's the character
laughing
from the beginning of the movie that oh, sorry, Bob.
I'll say I found myself laughing out loud like 2 or 3 times during this movie, and I don't think that was the filmmaker's intent, but I just found like certain situations to be like really kind of silly. And maybe the Jimmies were meant to be silly because they're so over the top and like tonally just kind of shift everything, and which is just a strange decision though. I don't know why they did that.
No,
it's very strange.
I will say before I watched this movie, it was kind of by accident, but I saw like some as the movie was coming out, like pre-reviews or whatever, and one of the comments was that this was felt very Adventure Time-esque. And so going into the movie, I kind of had that thought going in. I was like, oh, that is kind of interesting. Because, you know, Adventure Time is set during the apocalypse, and they go through these things that seem very grim, or are very grim and dark in their concepts, but the characters are so like wrapped in innocence and are just having fun that it's played like very. So there's kind of moments like this, like even when he's like before his, like when his mom is dying, it almost felt like this like coming of age children's story where this like this magic is flowing through these bones and stuff. And I was like, this is so strange. It's so weird.
It had like a Disney flair, like kind of like a magical whimsy. Disney might not be the best descriptor there, but like I get what you mean. And it's like it was also strange because he was at that moment. Spike was like on some sort of sedation, like he was sedated by the doctor so he didn't freak out when he was like, you know, killing his mom, and like, but he's still able to climb all the way to the top of that giant pile of bones. And I don't know, that just kind of felt like a strange choice. And the way they shoot that scene and some other scenes in the movie too, like when the Alpha's chasing them back to the island, like the way the night sky looks, it's like very fantastical, and like it
and
feels
the water too,
like a fairy tale or something.
It does.
There's something about that's like acceptable on some level to me, because like I guess like speaking to that Adventure Time comment, I think that's a fair way to represent a future that has been completely and utterly disrupted and like altered, like the idea that we would know with like a very strong understanding how people would survive, like how they would react, where they would be, what they would be doing when they've gone through all this shit is, you know, it's limited. Our scope to that is limited. So I understand the idea of maybe taking a little bit fantastical, but I feel like it goes pretty far off the map from what the originals were trying to do. Like I don't, when I think about the original film, I think about a movie that's clearly about like the inner rage of human beings and how they restrain that, how they utilize that for both survival and for ill, and like what that looks like unconstrained. Like it's not a deep premise, but it is the premise of the film, and it's very easy to understand, and it makes like the scientific internal logic of it hold together pretty well. I feel like this is just very nebulous at this point. It's hard to pin down any of the internal logic of any of the shit. I'm still not really clear what Ralph Fiennes is like doing. like aside from coping in a way that he has chosen to cope, which is perfectly fine and like a story to follow. It feels like this thing is starting to point towards religion is where I'm headed with this. Like it starts with the handing, like a priest being killed, and it ends with his son, presumably, as a fucking tracksuit ninja, but wearing that cross that he was given upside down, and like clearly killing for sport. These zombies, seeming like maybe not the most savory characters. And then you've got these people that this is the way it's done and it's tradition. Like this is how we've done it since the incident or what, like all this shit, like all the rules you have to follow, all those things become traditions rather than rules. Like there's some interesting shit there, but I feel like because this movie is one of 3 now, it doesn't complete that circuit at all. And it just sort of like leaves it bare and kind of empty. That's how it felt to me. It felt kind of dull.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
because even like, oh man, okay, like so, I think it goes past I think it does lean into fantastical in a way, because like the scene you're talking about with the water, or when they're chased on the water. So you have the Northern Lights, which you could say, oh, there's no light pollution anymore, so maybe the night sky's clean. But the crows like fly in with the zombie man, and they're like flying so yeah, they definitely lean into this realm of magic. And again, I mean, it is a story of this boy, and it does kind of have this coming of age perspective and kind of tone to it. So like at times, I thought that those were actually kind of interesting choices to take this kind of like zombie property, this zombie movie, but it's from the perspective of this kid and how he lives in this world. So how would you make a kind of coming of age movie from this kind of youthful perspective? And actually, if that was the goal, which I don't know if it is, but then I think that's pretty interesting, because even like the zombies like ripping the heads off and their like spines are attached. It's
very Predator is what it reminded me of.
But Predator, but not in a like, it feels kiddish, it feels childish. And so apart from this being this kind of like brutal horror movie where there's people getting slaughtered and like a birth, you see a birth happen, there's dong swinging and all these like very mature things, it feels like they were trying to make like this kind of kids horror movie. And I kind of wish they would just, if they had just kept that, like honestly, like if they didn't keep the mature themes, like if they had kept even the violence within the realm of that, like, oh, somebody's getting their like skull ripped up and it's got like the spine attached, but they like made everything very fantastical, I might have appreciated that more. As it is now, the tones are too scattered, I think.
Yeah, it feels kind of disjointed.
It especially like in relation to this property that it's playing with. Like I feel like if this disassociated with the 28 Days Later franchise, then it becomes immediately stronger, because it's just about this boy. It's not about a viral contagion or rage or any of that stuff. Like all that stuff, like the main things about that made the first movie interesting now kind of muddy the pot of what they're appear to be trying to do with this. I kind of agree that like there's not nothing interesting here. And I think that there's like, it's kind of got like almost like a never ending, like it's a dark fantasy almost.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like
story,
But it does it like, it's like ultra dark, and it's not really landing anywhere of seeming significance besides just like how people grieve, I guess. I don't know. It's just like it feels both too basic, or it's either too basic or it's too complex and not well. I don't know. It doesn't circle back on itself well enough and close the loop. It just feels very like unsatisfying at the end to me.
He feels kind of like a lost boy, and like maybe the other lost boys like find him in the end, and like, you know, who knows what the next movie is going to be. If you know, it was directed by Nia DaCosta, from probably most well known from that Candyman remake, requel, I guess is what you would call it. But who knows exactly what that's going to be. But yeah, it does feel like, when I think of like 28 Days Later, I think of like one of the grimmest zombie movies I've ever seen in my life. And like, you know, comparing that to this, it just feels very disjointed. And even the tones in just this movie in and of itself feel a little disjointed. I think like there's like some spooky stuff, but like I didn't feel super scared or like anywhere near the level of tension that I felt in 28 Days Later in this movie, like by any means. There was like certain moments, specifically with the alpha chasing after him with his dong just swinging all over the place. It was just hilarious to me. Like, I couldn't help
honey,
but
you got some
laugh.
wood.
Dude,
Maybe a little exciting, huh, Bob?
dude, that shit
hog
was
jog
so
never fails to make Bob
funny.
Dude, the hog. I know you got to give half star for that hog jog,
Dude,
Bob.
that-
You got to stay consistent.
That undead dick just flapping everywhere.
Well, I mean, even the alpha idea or whatever, like where does this come from?
It's a silly idea. Like, it's just, I want to see the Sigma zombie in the next one though. We got
Oh, that's what you really got to be scared of right there. The Sigmund.
Yeah, the Sigmund zombies.
The Sigmund zombie.
They got like 3 dicks and they're like propellers. Just, they'll fucking chop you up with their,
They're just flying hovering through the air.
via their dick propellers.
By their crotch, like.
Damn, we need to write one of these movies,
You
boys.
can hear them coming before you see them.
Sounds like a drone.
The Sigmunds. The Sigmunds are afoot.
God damn.
That shit
I
was
don't know, man. It just
hilarious.
feels. It's like it establishes some lore that works and some that just doesn't feel like it serves a lot of purpose towards whimsy or towards brutality. Like, it's just strange. Like, I just don't know what this movie wants me to take away. Is I think what's
Like
bothering me.
Men.
Yeah,
It's just weird. Yeah.
I feel like
at
the
least
movie
Men had like the
was
more striking visuals to me. Like, I didn't like. It was eerie and like I don't know. That movie to me is a lot gave me a lot more like visceral negative feeling than this did. This gave me very little by way of visceral feeling about anything.
I thought the point of Men was like so on the nose that you almost second guess it, like it can't be that simple, right? But it just kind of, it's like, man, men sure have always fucked everything up, and that's like kind of the movie.
I think the problem is the idea of the sequel, that there's too many threads that they want to leave dangling in order to pick back up. But however, I mean, if you just take this basic idea of this kid grows up in this very sheltered community where they have to have these very specific conservative rules in order to survive. He doesn't know what online is. He doesn't know what a delivery driver is. He has no concepts of the world before as it was. And, he goes out on this journey with his dad, who is overly kind of like pushing him towards this life, and then he has this mom who is sick and he cares for, because he's still got that like kind of youthful innocence, he's still kind of clinging to his mom. And then, and then going on that journey, having that riff with his dad and finding the balance between those things. Like, I'm going to step up and I'm going to be the man and I'm going to take care of my mom, but in still that youthful kind of way. And he finds this doctor who like kind of gives him this sense of wisdom or this new sense of idea in the world that he hasn't experienced in his conservative lifestyle. And he makes a decision based on that to live a different kind of life. I mean, that's a complete story.
Like, he's the strongest part of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then it kind of ends with him like I don't know. It's like it's like if it ended with him just meeting a pack of dwarves from the fucking Lord of the Rings. It's just it undercuts the whole thing.
It does.
To me.
I agree. I agree. The last 5 minutes or that ending is really dumb. Like, if anything, they should have. If you want to do the sequel, the opening scene and this last scene should be in the next movie. It's what it kind of reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of like Pirates of the Caribbean, for instance, where you have this movie that is able to stand on its own, but then you have two sequels that pull things from the first movie that make sense. Oh, Will Turner's dad, or all those kind of things, but that cannot stand on their own. I think it would have been very easy. Cut out that intro, cut out this last 5 minutes, and you have a standalone movie that makes sense from beginning to end without this ridiculous tie-in that wouldn't be hard to tie in anyways in the next movie.
I kind of feel like this is just me. Like, I think that excluding all of that stuff makes this its own movie, and you don't make anything else. You don't like. You can. I don't know what.
Sure.
I guess I don't know what they plan to add with them, and that's part of the frustration.
Yeah, you hate to be like, well, in a year when we see the next two movies, and we can fully evaluate this, and that's like
right. Yeah, it feels like I can't actually feel anything for this movie like outside of the things that are self-contained, which is only like half of it. Like, I almost like, if you're going to set those things up in this movie, I think, Justin, you're right to say like either exclude them, or my alternative would be like involve them more, like give some hint that there are people out there besides just like, oh, well, they found this guy tied up with the name Jimmy on him or whatever. Like, yes, they hinted at him midway through the film. I think that's the only true hint, and they don't really talk about it that much.
Oh yeah, that's right. The guy with the crow.
But like I wish they would give us an idea that there are people out there that are a little bit that aren't like these people, that are like you only see two kinds of people in this. You see like fucking townspeople from Transylvania, and you see Dr. Frankenstein over off on his freak island doing his bone temple shit. And like, that's fine, but like, that just tells me that there's one crazy dude who's not that crazy, and you learn from the ancient wizard or whatever, and you answer the call and all this shit. Like, it's beginning a hero's journey, but we only get to see the first third of that.
It's a Star Wars.
It just doesn't feel like we get to know that this world is bigger than what we see until the very end, where they introduce fucking cartoon characters that don't match.
Jack O'Connell playing Sir Jimmy, it doesn't match the movie, but I do want to see more of him, like, because the character's so absurd that like I was at least like really interested. Like, Ray Fiennes' character, I think, is the standout in this movie for me. Like, when you finally get to like his bone cathedral memorial thing and figure out what he's about, and like all that's actually pretty cool, and I'm pretty into that. It just takes a long time to get there. And I don't know, like it feels like the Jimmy character is just not in this movie and shouldn't be in this movie, but he's weird and I want to see more of him. It might not be good, it might not match tonally, but like I'm curious primarily because Jack O'Connell's playing the character, I guess, and I like him.
I mean, sure, but it just feels like I can't stress enough how much it just feels like the MCU in the worst way. It just feels like introducing the next movie. It's a trailer for the next movie.
This should have been the mid-credit thing, but...
And that said, like, this is I kind of am a little split on that too, because at least, like, as much as I did not like having dangling threads or whatever, at least that does kind of lead into the next movie the way that like Iron Man 2 doesn't necessarily. It kind of has its contained story. It does set things up, but it does it mostly contained into one or two little cameo moments that are just for the fans. But there's no like existing fans of tracksuit ninjas. We're not waiting on bated breath for these characters to be introduced. So like, I don't know. I guess I'm just of two minds about it. Like, if we're going to have this whole story, then just have this be a broader story than just, I don't know, make it it feels like both incomplete and short shrifting the story that we have to do this way.
Yeah, it's the meat of the story is like it almost feels inspirational the way like the Dr. Kelson character is talking about how, you know, memento mori, like you have to remember death, but you also have to like remember to love people when you're alive and show kindness to those around you. And then he builds this memorial of death and like how that's just a part of life, and you gotta like, you know, it's all a balance and like, okay, well that's cool. It is kind of like Yoda like, I guess, almost, where, you know, there's got to be a balance.
He's definitely like the old what is it that the hero with 1,000 faces thing. I can't remember, it's like the old wizard or whatever. Like,
which is like, I think it's interesting enough, but it does feel a little too like whimsical and too magical for this franchise. And like, I expected like the grim nature of the first two, and I think that really works. And like, it just feels like a bizarre swerve. Like if you're gonna like get the original band back together, who made that first really just gut-wrenching zombie flick, like for them to specifically decide to make a movie in this tone is like really baffling, I think. I don't know why they would.
It's very strange. And it's also like it just to me runs counter to what the first two are. Like the first two it's about like rage in humanity, and it's about society collapsing, like the safeguards falling apart. And like, you know, all the like bleak shit that we can see in a bunch. We've seen in a lot of other things since. You know, it's not uncharted territory by any means, but it's very grounded, and it as more grounded than this. It does not feel magical. It does not feel like magic has a place in that world. And here, this movie is embracing that like in a pretty significant way. It feels like, while also saying, but also America's just fine. Like. America's just
everybody
regular
else
America.
is just fine. Yeah,
it's just the
but
UK
like, here's this fucking land with goddamn wizards and bone temples. Like, what do we? And
it kind of, you know what? It also kind of it was like there's so many interesting things that I think just, and maybe that's the problem. Like maybe they'll develop it in a different way, but it kind of reminded me of what is it? I Am Legend with Will Smith, where it's like, oh, the monsters kind of have souls too, or they're their own thing. Like this element of they're kind of in packs. You see their kind of community, and you see that pregnant one, and then also too, they didn't really explain like the mom's connection. Like the mom seemed to have this, like when she reaches out her hands, and then the pregnant one like grabs her hands, and
I think that was just supposed to be motherhood.
They have an understanding.
It's motherhood.
Okay, well, if that's so,
I think that's it.
But and there's like this baby. So, and then the alpha seems to be, you know, more enraged that his pregnant wife or whatever is dead, and is looking for the baby and stuff. So, but I don't think that was really fully explored either.
I don't either. I feel like that. Like, are they setting that up for the next one? Because that's so weird. That's the only like
they don't kill
villain.
They don't kill the alpha, and like that's another thing that bothered me because they stun him twice, and like you could just kill him, and then you don't have to worry about him anymore coming back, because he keeps coming back because he's
so
smart.
Yeah. If the doctor had a thing, if he had some philosophy, now okay. Okay.
Might,
if the doctor, had some philosophy, which I kind of assumed that he did, since he didn't kill him the first time.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we're leading into this thing of like man as the monster, where we see before where Jimmy's crew is, you know, carving into this zombie and leaving him to be eaten by the crows, and the dad is like overly excited about killing these children zombie and things like that.
He's raising daddy's little apex predator, you know. He's seen it a million times
all day.
Oh yeah, in like 3 weeks. And then the doctor kind of has this more, you know, the man who gave an oath to kind of protect life
like
or something like that. Yeah, then he kind of, and then that affects Jimmy in a new kind of way. Or not Jimmy, Spike. Which, dude, I just kept thinking about Little Giants the whole time. I was like fucking Ike. What a weird choice. But yeah, I feel like that wasn't tied together well because I have this assumption that Jimmy's going to be a kind of piece of shit.
Yeah.
Scumbag and the tracksuits, obviously.
I think it's almost like he's poised to be the big bad of the franchise philosophically and morally. At least that's like on what little we have, what I am anticipating. Because his tragic story, tragic whatever backstory is the first thing we see, and it's honestly one of the best scenes. I was like kind of bummed that we didn't get to know more about this Jimmy throughout the rest of the film. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel complete, and until we see more, I don't think that I can truly evaluate what's going on with these characters outside of what happens here, which is very silly by the end of things. It undercuts itself. It just doesn't feel like it fits in the movie we just saw. Like, that's the biggest problem for me is their inclusion and how they were included.
I liked this scene. I mean, his dong swing. That's the thing. If they had stuck with the tone, oops, I think I changed my microphone. Hang on. Oh no, I'm good. Okay. If they had kept the tone of when they're running, I liked the water and the little island that they had. Yeah, and the arches or the gateways and the water's coming up, and even and like I said, you can explain it away to where if they just made it a little fantastical where it's the northern lights and it's reflecting off the water and this zombie's chasing you, but his dong's not swinging it. But I mean, I guess it makes sense that his dong would be swinging because why is he going to be wearing clothes?
You guys are really fixated on the swinging dong aspect.
But like, if it was just that tone of from the boy's perspective, even with the guy ripping out the skulls with the spine, because it's a little silly. I think I would have preferred that movie just there, what I described before of the kid becoming a coming of age story in a zombie world that's through his eyes, so it's slightly fantastical. Because, to be fair, I don't need to do this, but the first movie, it has some elements, not fantastical elements, but those kind of like light elements where, everything is doom and gloom, but there's this ray of sunshine, this kind of ray of hope or whatever. And isn't it the first movie where there's this, so there's like a sign that says hell, and then somebody like paints an O on it, and it like says hello or whatever.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, something where it's got this like little bit of like, like we're gonna make a family, or it's gonna be, so
how they ended the movie is with.
Is it okay? So I mean, if it had that like element of it, of they're living by his dad's driving him to kill these things, but really he's just focused on helping his mom, and the doctor gives him some new perspective on life and what the world is and everything like that. I think that's good enough. Like, I think that I would have been satisfied with that movie. You have a big bad, you have this conflict between perception of what your dad raises you to be, what your community expects you to be, what you want to do to help your mom, this new kind of doctor giving you a new perception in this like bleak world, also too little outside influence with Eric. I think that's enough. Like, I just don't think they needed all this extra bullshit. I think they kind of shot themselves in the dick a little bit, honestly.
And the giant undead dick just shot themselves. There's another thing that I thought was strange in this movie that like confuses me tonally. It's the music that's in it. There's a lot of like really bombastic, like energetic, youthful sounding score in this, and like it's not that I dislike the music. It just is often paired with like these really frenetic, what would normally be scary zombie chase scenes and zombie kill scenes. Like whenever they kill a zombie, there's like crazy music happening, and they also the choices with the cinematography kind of boggle my mind too, because the camera like it like cuts, like when they kill a zombie, it like freeze frames and from different angles on the kill, and it feels like a video game or a comic book or something, and it's like just so disjointed from the rest of the franchise, and it really like eliminates any sort of horror for me. It's just it feels like comic booky, like we've kind of been mentioning throughout this conversation.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially thinking about the first movie, because it's shot cinema verite style, like it's shot like on a handy cam, in order to give immersion. And the music in that is some of the best. The score is like simple and slow and building, and it just escalates the whole tone and entire finale of the movie, and it just works perfectly. And it just feels disjointed as hell. I don't know.
I will say some of the cinematography was really cool, though.
Some of it.
That's the best part.
That shot with the kind of tree on the hill, and you got the one zombie that's like underneath.
Yeah.
And then you get some more
Majora's Mask vibes.
Dude, that was, and to be fair, I liked how feral the zombies were. You remember like when they were running and they're fucking like flapping around and shit. You do remember that element was tense to me, because that's what was like tense about. They're so fucking fast, and you know, we think about fast zombies, but they feel so feral, like being chased by a pack of wild dogs, but they look so fucked up. I think that still worked for me. So you're talking about the tension level, like especially too when they're like working with the bows, but they go into this house and it's like these tight quarters. I was like, they don't have any kind of swords or anything that they are trying to shoot bows into in a hallway. But those like were kind of tense moments. So there was some tension here.
I thought it was sparse though, man. Like,
it was
sparse.
And
like the way it's like to your point, like there's no, like the bow and arrow thing is fine. Like I understand like there's a logic to that to some degree, but yeah, like this movie has to invent things to complicate that even more. Like it creates reasons, and then sometimes doesn't create reasons in order to make those tension moments happen. So like you said, they for some reason aren't carrying any sort of melee weapon at all. They aren't carrying anything else besides their bow and arrow. So like that's all they have to rely on, period. That and their feet and their wits. It seems kind of stupid to do that. And then at the same time, like they can't fucking, they have these characters that are not just zombies, but like uber zombies that can take 1 million arrow hits. They had to have like a hit.
It's like a boss. It feels like a video game, like Rob said. Yeah, it's like a sub boss or whatever.
Exactly. It feels like here's the mini boss. He's going to take a lot more hits, and it's like what is this, Dark Souls? No, what the fuck? Like I don't care if it's Dave Bautista or some fucking muscle bound freak that turned into a zombie. It doesn't matter.
Brain
gets shot in the heart several times. Like there was an arrow literally going through his chest at one point.
What they haven't figured out yet is they keep all their power in their giant undead hog.
That's where you're not shooting them in the dog.
But that's the alpha.
Also, too, like the different like categories of zombies. Like, why were those zombies so big? In the second one, they literally said they all. This is the thing too. They're wanting to continue on this kind of franchise, but one the big thing in the second one is all the infected starved.
Well, they got back out at the end of the movie, they get back out in Paris, I think, because of the events of the film. Like,
I think that's right.
But we're in England.
Populace. I know, but like, I don't remember if they said that they all starved or what, but to whatever extent they have it under control in England to a certain extent, but they're still semi-quarantined, I want to say.
But like 28 years later, like
get out of the quarantine.
I mean, it does show them eating a deer. To be fair, it does show them eating a deer.
The ones,
but
that are
why
crawling.
would it? But you got these like really big ones that are, I guess, slow. Because he's like, I shot one of the big ones, and then you got these really skinny ones that they run really fast. You got these like kid zombies, and they know that they're like kid zombies, and you assume, maybe the kids were transformed, but it doesn't. it makes it seem like they're breeding, right? And so, but these people who have been hunting on this land don't realize that they're breeding for 10, 12, 15 years. I don't know, man. It's just...
Yeah. Got a lot of questions, and the good news is we got 2 more movies to answer them, so just keep buying tickets, baby. Any other points you guys want to hit on before we rate this thing out of 5?
No.
All right. Let's do it. Ray and Diesel, why don't you kick us off out of 5? How do you feel about 28 years later?
I'm just kind of like, I'm just kind of underwhelmed. I really went into this movie with higher expectations than I usually allow myself, because I try and come in as blind as possible. But the trailers for this were unavoidable. It was everywhere. And these are some of the best trailers I've ever seen, or I've seen in a while. Like, they didn't seem to give away a whole lot. That fucking poem was a poem about the traumas of war and bloodshed. And so I thought, based on that I was walking into a movie that was going to play with a lot of the ideas of like Civil War or whatever other films that these guys have made that are just about the broad topic of violence on humanity's violence against itself. You know what I mean? Like, that is in keeping with what I think the originals did, and I think there is still an aspect of that, but it's so like hidden underneath this layer of comparative fancifulness that doesn't really jibe with the rest of it for me in a lot of ways. And then once I got that first opening scene, which is in my opinion maybe the best scene of the movie with the Teletubbies, and you saw some of that in the trailer, and like see the breakdown of this one character, his origin story, whatever. You don't get a whole lot else, but like that dealt with religion, and there's some philosophical discussion that is around religion anyway, or at least around the concept of death and all this. There's all these heady things that are in the mix, but not defined in a way that I think makes a compelling story or a compelling point. And I'm hoping at least that is only because they're trying to stretch this out over 3 films, which is a flaw still, but at least I'm hoping that there is like a circuit ender to this, like that these thoughts come full circle and we get some sort of like broader notion of what is being communicated here. As far as the insular story we get, to Justin's point, like, yeah, this is a coming of age story about a kid in a post-apocalyptic situation who's removed from the world. There's new traditions. There's a whole new status quo that this kid is growing up under, and expectations for him. And he's disillusioned by those eventually. That's all like perfectly fine and good storytelling, and the acting is good. Like, I think the kid who plays Spike does a really good job. I think that Ralph Fiennes does an amazing job as expected. I don't see any weak links in terms of acting or the way that things are shot or like the Foley artistry or any of that stuff. Like the craft is all good. I'm very happy with all that stuff. I didn't key in on the music. I rarely key in the music as much as you do, Bob, but I do agree that like the original, you key in the music on it because it's fucking incredible. I didn't get that feeling with any of the music in this. So on a craft level, it's mostly good. It's just like the way that the story is being told, what is being communicated is like confounding and hard to pin down, which isn't always a problem, except I think that it really has something specific in mind that it's not telling us. So it feels incomplete and it feels unsatisfying for that. And the insult to injury, and really the thing that really like puts a real like wrench in the works for me, is the like tonal dissonance of these fucking cartoon characters that just pop up at the end. It really just brings home like all the things that I was feeling about this movie throughout in the worst way. So it left a lingering negative taste on my mouth. So yeah, there's some good, there's some bad, there's the potential for more good with later movies, but as a movie on its own, I think I'm going to stick with a 2.5 and maybe give it a little room to grow based on the context of the rest of the story that we're not getting. I just kind of wish this was a story about a kid named Spike in a post-apocalyptic wasteland that's non-specific to any one existing set of rules. Like, I don't think we need that.
Randy said 2.5 with room to grow. This is clearly a shower, not a grower, Randy. Juice, how do you feel out of 5?
Yeah, it's frustrating because I feel like a satisfying, complete movie is here, and then it's dressed in a lot of bullshit. I liked a lot of the cinematography, not all of it. Like some of the weird cuts where they're like when the kids are training and they cut in like old footage of the knights training as well. That kind of stuff was weird. I don't know. I didn't really like that. But I like just the straight up, like I said, the cinematography of like those shots of them standing on the hill under the tree and chasing, or the shots of them running through the water, and the settings. I thought the settings are really cool. And yeah, even like the training montage with the dad, I thought the relationship between the kid and the dad made sense and worked well. And then the mom, I thought the setup of that whole family and community like made sense and felt complete and rewarding in a way of like, you leave, we can't go after you. And I'm just, I don't know, it was all on solid ground. And even like Ray Fiennes' character maybe was a little underwhelming and like what he was doing, and like maybe didn't have some kind of like deeper purpose or something maybe. But I would have been fine without the extra bullshit. So like even the Eric character was good, adding in somebody to die, but also somebody to expose this kid to like what's going on in the outside world, I think was good. And you get a little soldier action with the regular old guns firing and stuff. But they're just, but it made sense. See, that made sense too. They're supposed to just be on a boat, so they're not really prepared for this kind of combat. So they would be incompetent in that way. And he's like just a young kid that just signed up for it. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's just this ending. The last 10 minutes really fucked up, man. And I'm just frustrated. I think I'm gonna give it a 3. I agree. The acting is good. Most of it makes sense. Some of it is tonally off, but could make sense in a more succinct film. I just think this ending really fucked it up, man, and kind of soured me out. I don't really want any sequels, to be honest with you. Not if they're going to have tracksuit ninjas. That shit was stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
It was so not only was it tonally way off, it was fucking stupid. It was so stupid. And that was the limpest handshake I've ever fucking seen, dude. When it's like, I'm Jimmy, let's be pals or whatever. I was like, brother, you got to put a little
egg salad sandwich handshake.
That egg salad sandwich handshake.
Do me a solid here and think about this. Think about if the tracksuit ninjas showed up just in an episode of Walking Dead. They wouldn't even match that. And that is already way more cartoonish than the 28 Years Later franchise.
They don't match like anything. Like what? Tracksuit ninjas are not
like
a
Attack
thing.
the Block characters showed up for no reason. Like what the fuck is this?
It's like, and they all look the same, and were they doing the Teletubby thing? Is that what they were doing at the end?
Maybe
with the leg or whatever.
Maybe. They're all Jimmys too, by the way. Like if you look at the credits, they're all named Jimmy. Different types of Jimmy.
So stupid. And isn't
I wonder
that
if it's like inbreeding or something? I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
Isn't that like a famous character in like British pop culture or something? I think they were riffing off of something.
Yeah. So
maybe. I didn't think about that.
I have trivia about that.
Okay, good.
Well, I'll save it because we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, save it.
I think things about this
did I give a score? Did I say 3?
You did say 3, yeah.
Okay, Bob, out of 5.
Yeah, I'm generally on the same page as you guys here. I think with every decision that was made with this movie, like I kind of like it, but I also like kind of don't like it. Like the idea of a coming of age movie in this franchise like could have worked. I don't know that it's the most interesting idea. I don't know that's necessarily what I want out of this, but like yeah, it's not a terrible idea. The way they go about it, though, is like not horrible, but it's like a little too magical, and it feels like it doesn't really fit the franchise. And like, I like the Doctor character, but he's a little too like stereotypical, and like adds to the whimsy of it all. Some of the cinematography and like some the like digital effects again, like really don't match the rest of the franchise, and it looks silly and like we're in Neverland or something. It just doesn't really totally fit here. even like when they're in the gas station and there's like a gas leak, just like seeing the gas floating around looks kind of bad. The zombies themselves look good. Like I think the designs work and they do look spooky, but the way it's edited and the music just totally like eradicate most of the tension that I start to feel whenever they're being chased around, because it just feels like it doesn't fit the franchise in any way, really. There's, great acting across the board, I think, from everybody in this. I think they're really doing everything they can with what they've been given. But mostly, I think the artistic choices are just bizarre, specifically because they come from the original creative team. So I just don't know why these choices were really made. The original movie was shot on like an old school like digital camera, so it looks grainy and rough, and like this was largely shot on an iPhone 15. Obviously they had all kinds of lenses and different things that they added to it, and they got really fancy with the cinematography, and it just feels so strange, and I don't know why they decided to do that. I got a lot of laughs, like I think accidental laughs when watching this. Just some head scratchy moments. The zombie hog is just very distracting. The pregnant zombie,
I'll bet it is.
it was kind of a cool idea. I mean, we've seen it before, but like it's kind of a cool idea. Like maybe that'll work. They save the baby. Maybe it'll grow up and something crazy will happen with it. And that's the problem of like, coming out of the gate with like a trilogy is like, well, maybe in a year or two, I guess we'll see how all this comes together. And it's very unsatisfying and head scratchy. And like the Jimmy stuff at the end is stupid as fuck and doesn't make any sense. But like, I just like Jack O'Connell, so like I want to see more of that character, but it doesn't make any sense in this franchise for sure. Ralph Fiennes, I think, is the shining star of this. He makes the most sense, I think, and like his character is the most interesting, and like whatever. I think that just really works, and it seems like he's going to be in the next one too. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of strange decisions, a lot of weird choices. The trailer definitely sells a movie that would make sense to be the third in this franchise. And then the movie that you actually get is just not that. And it's just kind of baffling. The trailer's so much better than the movie. And I try to avoid the trailer. I think we all try to avoid trailers now. This is one that I did watch, though. And it gets you ready for like something that really does touch on like the horrors of like war, the ravages of war, which the original movie anyway, like really does touch on that. In a pretty big, impactful, meaningful way, and this just doesn't. It like kind of touches on that, but then it doesn't really culminate to mean anything. This movie, it feels like it doesn't really mean much, other than like death is a part of life. Then you're like, okay, got it. Like roll credits. I don't know. So yeah, I'm 2.5 out of 5 on this one. Just kind of overall sort of confounding. This movie's just kind of confounding. So that's going to put our aggregate at a 2.7 for 28 years later.
I was a more generous man than you boys.
You're a giver.
That's true.
And no room for growing. This is just for showing. Let's go ahead and jump into
I'll tell you, Harry, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Let's jump into a Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users have to say.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to ask these gentlemen to guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for 28 years later. There's the critic reviews that amount on the tomatometer, and then there's the users reviews on the poopometer. There are, from the critics, 211 reviews, so a nice, healthy sample size for this new movie. 211 reviews. Juice, why don't you start us off today? What do you think what percentage would you say are positive reviews out of those 211?
I think it's going to be one of those moments where the critics are going to be too kind. Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, I think they're just going to be swinging on those nutsacks. So I'm going to take the boys 86.
86. All right. Bob? How much do you think? How much nutsack swinging do you expect on this one?
Just one sack per hand, just holding on, just swinging.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Well, they got to hang on for dear life if the hog is just spinning them up into that atmosphere.
Propelling them.
Safety first, boys. Yeah, I think Juice is kind of on the right track here. I get the sense that this is mostly enjoyed. So 86 is a solid guess. I'll take the over and leave some room to tie with an 88, please.
88. Well, I've got some bad news and I've got some good news. The bad news is it's not going to be a tie. But the good news is one of you is just 1 percentage point away from the correct answer. And that correct answer is 89%. Bob's walking with this one. Congrats to Bob.
Nice. That is quite high.
That is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, dude.
I thought you almost I thought you were headed in the right direction there for a minute, Justin, because I'm like my understanding of this score when I saw it was like, okay, well, this must be a result of a lot of critics all having mostly a good time with this, so it counts as positive. It counts as a thumbs up, even if it's kind of like a weak thumbs up sort of thing.
I mean, what critics going to go in and like the big swings too? We always talk about big swings. I mean, you got fucking Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, and taking big swings. I'd be like, oh,
I know what you did last summer reboot.
Thank God they're so bold and brave to make a film like this.
Giving us something so new that's the third part of a franchise.
Yeah.
Just make something new then. Anyway, so
the Chris Duckmans of the world, you'd say.
Wow,
we are really still trying to make this feud happen.
It's gonna catch on eventually.
Swinging on that stuck sack.
Notice us.
Notice me, senpai.
All right, let's move over to the Poopometer where the users hang. There are 2,500 plus verified ratings on the Poopometer, so a sizable amount as well. Why don't we start in reverse order? Bob, you kick us off. What percentage of those would you assume are positive?
Reverse. This is probably going to be lower than the critics' score, I think. Not super low. I don't expect it to be crazy low, though. I'll take the comedy number of 69, please.
Okay, all right.
69 dudes!
Juice, how many dudes you coming in at?
Yeah, this is going to be low. I'm going to go lower than that. I'm going to say people don't like this movie, and I'm going to say 60.
60 flat. Okay. Man, I hate to say this, but this was very, very nearly a tie.
Damn it.
Rob's going to walk with this one. It's a 65%.
61. Should have shot for the tie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, well.
So
congrats.
That's a hell skeet sweep, Bob.
We're sweeping skeet tonight, boys.
Whoa.
Zombie skeet.
Dusty boy.
I'm sorry, what? I just began parsing what you were saying.
Oh, you know. That's an alpha zombie. You know, he's packing some.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Hey, honey, you got some wood.
You know he's an alpha by his dong. That's really how you...
I don't like soft ass shit.
Dude, that shit was cracking me up. I couldn't deal with it.
It was famously small. That's what was hilarious to me.
Famously.
You call that an alpha?
You call that an alpha dong?
He's not even tripping on it. Not even touching the ground.
God damn. Yeah, that's really it for Rotten Tomatoes. Well, I guess I can read some critic reviews here. Oh, and the Critics Consensus. Jesus Christ. Where are we? Who am I? What is this show? Critics Consensus reads as follows. 28 years later, taps into contemporary anxieties with the ferocious urgency of someone infected with the rage virus, delivering a haunting and visceral thrill ride that defies expectations. I take issue with most of that.
I don't agree with that. Yeah.
Really?
I think the original one taps more into modern fears than this one.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, it does defy expectations. I'll give it that.
I'll give him that. But even like the visceral thrill ride. Ride? I don't know, man. There's a few thrilling scenes, and they are a little bit undercut when compared to the original because they are way too controlled and way too little chaos in them, like by comparison. That's what made it work, was the chaotic nature of those things. Anyway, yeah, pulpit done. let's read one negative review just for the hell of it. Let's see if anybody agrees with us here. This is frustrating because there's some really good stuff in here. A lot of it quite beautiful and strange, but none of it has been arranged into the rising and descending action of a story. It's just stuff. This guy's got it down, dude.
Yeah, it's just stuff.
It took us an hour to land on that.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. That's correct.
Well done. Correct opinion found.
This is just
Yep.
stuff.
That's just stuff, dog.
Yeah. All right. Well done, North
Wow,
Shore
yeah.
Movies.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. That's it.
Manage the AI for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit
Pay
generate.
nothing. Enjoy.
It generates.
Thank you. Yeah, I got some trivia if y'all want to get into it.
It's totally time for trivia.
So your boy Alex Garland stated that the film Kes, Kes, was a major influence when coming up with the ideas for this movie. And I'd never heard of that before. I looked it up. It's from 1969. It's a coming-of-age drama about a young boy training his pet bird.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Spot on.
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of connective tissue that we just will not get from a pure
Yeah.
synopsis of that movie.
Yeah. The music in this was written by a Scottish progressive hip hop group called They're called Young Fathers. Never heard of them before. Apparently they're pretty well known. They've won a bunch of awards and stuff. I didn't dislike the music. I just didn't feel like it fit this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Danny Boyle's music choices. Typically, I do like, and I don't know. I think there's some crossover in my musical interest in his, just based on a few things I've heard about him. But this, I didn't notice the music, and that is a stark contrast to the original. If you had asked me beforehand what I expected the music to be like, I would have said I would have expected to be like completely bombastic and enhancing the whole like drive of the action, all this stuff, and it just doesn't do that.
No, it takes me out of the movie pretty hard.
I was just looking at some of their discography. Their second album, released in 2015, is titled "White Men Are Black Men Too." Thought, well, that could go a lot of different ways.
Talk about that on your
I
Arctic Monkeys
don't know,
podcast, buddy.
I'm not sure I'm ready for whatever that conversation is going to be like.
As we mentioned, the trailer features a distinctive recording of a poem called Boots, written by Rudyard Kipling, and it's being read by the actor Taylor Holmes in the year 1915. The poem's repetitive rhythm imagines the march of British soldiers during the Boer War. In this recording of the poem, apparently is used by the United States military to simulate the psychological distress of being held captive.
Yeah, I mean, the poem might be like the reading of the poem is maybe better than this movie in my opinion.
I would agree. Yeah, that poem like really does like make me anxious and like it. Yeah, that like driving nature of the poem. It like puts you on
Kipling
edge.
myself.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Where my clue head's at, Okay.
Clue heads. Your boy Cillian Murphy, whose character did survive the 28 Days Later film, has been confirmed as not appearing in this movie, although the makers don't rule out his return. And I think recently they just straight up said he's going to be featured in the next one a little, and in the third one quite a lot, I think is what they've said.
Oh, what?
However,
Okay, well, I don't know what to do with that information, so
yeah, some viewers, in the trailer of this movie, spotted a zombie that looked quite like Cillian Murphy's character, and started speculating that maybe he did die, and that zombie was him. And Danny Boyle just like shrugged it off. Apparently, his girlfriend brought that up to him before the trailer came out. This is a quote from him. He says, "I showed my girlfriend the trailer, and she said people are definitely going to think that's Cillian." And he said, "Don't be silly." And I ignored her. So I've eaten a bit of humble pie since then. There you go.
Man, am I right?
Yes.
If only they made a movie about that.
If only they made a movie about that.
We talked about the ending of 28 Weeks Later just a little bit in our review, which does show the rage virus crossing the British border and reaching Paris. This obviously kind of ignores that. And writer Alex Garland stated in a Reddit AMA that Paris was likely nuked soon after the infected arrived, so the viral spread to European mainland was quickly stopped in its tracks. So that's why.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, just blew it all up, you know.
We just blew it up.
Just blow it up. Sir Jimmy is a reference to a real life person named Jimmy Savile. He was an English media. Thank you, Savile. Jimmy Savile. He was an English media personality and DJ. He was known for his eccentric image, charitable work, and hosting the BBC shows Top of the Pops and Jimmy'll Fix It. After his death, hundreds of allegations of sexual abuse made against him were investigated, tarnishing his reputation and leading the police to conclude that he was a predatory sex offender and possibly one of Britain's most prolific. There had been allegations during his lifetime, but they were dismissed and accusers were ignored or disbelieved. Savile's victims allegedly included young children and elderly victims. So not a good dude.
Yeah, there's a Netflix documentary about this guy, and it is
fuck.
Like, imagine all the things that people said about fucking Paul Rubens after he got caught yanking it.
Okay, I gotcha.
Except, like, everything they said was way more legitimate because this guy was fucking awful.
Not great.
Awful.
Not great.
Oh no, he looks dirty as shit.
Widely beloved.
He looks
like he's
got like a bleach blonde. Like bowl.
He's got
not bowl. It's not bowl. He's got. Oh, what is this dude? This dirty man.
It's a deeply British look somehow.
Man. Ugh.
A couple quick hitters here. The budget, from what I could find online, which, you know, take it with a grain of salt, was somewhere between $60 and $75 million for this movie. And opening weekend, it grossed $60 million, so it's definitely going to make its money back. It seems to be doing okay. And like we said, there was another movie's already been shot. Nia DaCosta directed the sequel, I believe, immediately after this movie wrapped, and it is titled 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Which was also written by Alex Garland, and Ray Fiennes is going to be back in it. Alfie Williams, the kid from this movie is going to be back, and Emma Laird apparently are going to star in it. I guess a touch of Cillian Murphy from what they're saying, and that's slated to be released January 16th.
He's the one who's going to show up at the end and give a limp handshake.
Let's be pals. Yeah,
I'm
starting
Cillian.
a team.
I'm right. Yeah,
I'm a Peaky Blinder.
They call me something of a Peaky Blinder.
Bit of an alpha.
Fucking A. They call
I'm one
me
of those guys. I just
Sigmund
they really
Murphy.
call me Da Bomb, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh
You know
my
what I'm saying, right?
God.
Got it right.
January 16th, 2026 is currently the release date for that. So we should get it in, half a year's time, roughly.
Wait, what was the date? January?
16th. Yeah, January 16th next year.
Oh, no. January.
Oh, no. That's all I got. That's all I got. Shall we talk Cooter of the Week?
Let's talk 'em.
Let's.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Well, Cooter's a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. The 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, is there a cooter in this movie? Maybe the dad.
Alpha, maybe. I mean, the dad. Yeah, let's start with the. Aaron Taylor Johnson is such a nothing in this movie to me.
Craven the Hunter.
You are nothing.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they had some scenes of him maybe trying to chase the boy or like trying to get him back.
Chase the boy.
Right? But he's a little
Sexual deviant.
Well, okay, sexual deviant. He's cheating on his wife.
That's the easy one.
Yeah.
Interesting. that pause is as pregnant as that zombie was.
Madame.
It was as long as that hog was.
Manipulation. He's kind of like overbearing. I don't think he's manipulating. He's kind of like
he lies.
Well,
he like withholds information and
yeah.
it's like
yeah, and well, he
not
does
the worst
manipulate him in
dad,
regards
but-
to the doctor, but like kind of with he doesn't want him investigating the doctor. He wants him embracing the society that they've built. So his dad is also like a braggart. At least he wants to be proud of his son. He is proud of his son, and he's like saying some shit that's not true.
Smug
to the
arrogance
crowds,
for
to the
sure.
throngs of crowds. Yeah,
Yeah, he rushes
sure.
his son out there and before he's really ready, and then
he's ready.
lies
It's
about
like,
his
yeah.
success, and then gets
It's true.
shit hammered and cheats on his wife, and it's
almost
not,
gets him killed. I mean,
yeah, that's true. They almost die. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That's just fair. So smug arrogance, sexual deviance, patheticness. Seems pretty capable. He's taking care of everybody at the beginning, you know?
yeah.
he's
Begin.
yeah,
He
he's
can't
not,
cook eggs for shit, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'd give him patheticness. He's a capable member of the functioning society he's in, and he's very devoted to it. He's devoted to his son, even if he's not forthright with him. Like,
Yeah.
And he takes care of his wife, it seems, for the most part. Even though he's cheating on her, he's like taking care of her.
Yeah, and he looks his attire's normal.
Not quite there. Not quite there. Only other person is Eric, but I don't
I don't think Eric's gonna hit.
It's pretty
know. He's
funny.
kinda
That little
got-
interaction where he's talking about, it's like, what's wrong with her face?
dude. Yeah, that was really funny. Actually, I give him credit.
That was a naturally funny
Yeah.
interaction that made sense. Where one person is
Eric-
used to
it was
this
character
society
specific.
and one person, yeah.
Eric shows
Like-
the kid a picture of his girlfriend who she had some Botox maybe or something. He's like, yeah, what's wrong with her? Because he's never seen that
Oh,
before.
my friend had her lips all swell up after eating shellfish.
Shellfish.
Yeah. There's a very innocent moment because he
Yeah.
just doesn't know. It is funny. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of think that let's talk about Eric then for a minute though, because he definitely gives me a pathetic vibe. Like he at least gives me that. I like he's not handling his shit well, in my opinion.
He seems like very young and inexperienced.
He's like just kind of like he's arrogant, I think, and pathetically inept at what he's trying to do. He's like bitching and complaining about like, well, I didn't have anything else to do, so I thought I'll go make something of myself in the army. I should have never fucking done that. And I understand the regret or whatever, but he's still kind of like bragging.
But he's also like, he is a little arrogant because he's like, oh, you can't give me this and you can't give me this. Why did I save you or whatever?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's got some arrogance, but
manipulation. I don't think we know him long enough, but I think he would have definitely lied about something if it was advantageous to him. That's no way to know for sure, but.
I
Sexual
don't think he
deviancy,
hits
we
enough
don't know.
either.
Just kind of a young douchebag, perhaps, but like, yeah.
But I mean, in fairness, the
soldiers.
core of a cooter is usually like somebody that you could see Michael Myers slashing into ribbons, and I could see this guy getting Michael pretty easily. So I think he's in the zone, or he's at least primed.
He gets
for it.
killed by the
Cooters
alpha, and you're
zone.
like, okay with it.
Yeah, you are
right,
You are
yeah.
fine.
Which is kind of key.
especially in that moment because he's, the mom
Gonna kill the baby.
Yeah, she refuses to let him kill the baby, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna kill all of you if you don't put the baby down." Yeah, so.
Which I mean, what?
true.
Even if it's infected, they're infected everywhere. They're literally
you're not
roaming the
going
countryside.
anywhere,
It's
homie.
not like the baby's
Yeah.
gonna be chasing. Not just
doesn't even have teeth.
it's not a threat.
Yeah,
It's like, well, yeah, you're right. Doesn't even have to. What? Gonna scratch you? Maybe
Gonna
I
gum you
don't
to
know.
death.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no
Gonna
real
teeth on
threat
you.
there.
Yeah, in the zone, I guess. I think Jimmy absolutely will be a cooter. We don't see him at all, so we can't say. But I think
Look
he
at his
definitely-
tire.
Got ya, check. Yeah,
Wow, you added an extra 2 syllables to that word.
Looking at tire and Yeah, I guess that's all we got
kind of
so
it,
far.
yeah.
And a limp handshake, so pathetic.
Pathetic.
Oh,
Egg
yeah.
salad just.
That man's not an alpha,
Hank-
that's for sure.
Hank Hill would never vote for that, man.
I'm sorry, I can't follow you into battle, sir. That's just
I'm
weak.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's like
Let's be pals.
episode-
Fistful of
King of the
potato
Hill.
salad.
That King of the Hill episode's so funny.
It's so good. Anyway,
I guess the dad. I guess kind of the dad.
Not really. I don't think anybody
Just
really
mention
should
Cooter lights. I
Cooter
guess.
lights,
Seaman. I think
yeah.
it's I think we got a lot of parolees here, or not parolees, but watch listers here.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep your eyes out. All right.
For the next film.
Yeah. Right.
6 months and maybe we'll get them.
Maybe
we'll get 'em.
stick a pin in Jimmy. I'm sure we will circle back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have time for what we've been watching? I know we got a couple voicemails. Let's just get to the voicemails.
Voicemails,
Yeah, we got kind of a time limit tonight. So yeah, we got some voicemails. Let's get into our hotline screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you guys are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. First up, we're hearing from our friend, the librarian. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Hey, divas and divettes. Once again, happy Pride. I'm calling on the 50th anniversary of my favorite gay-to-me movie, Jaws. Happy Jaws anniversary. We all know those fellas would have been exploring each other's bodies further on that boat if that damn shark hadn't interrupted. But yeah, I've always been told my accent is my third sexiest feature, and I think it's at its peak when I say Jaws. Anyway, we are also celebrating, quote-unquote, 28 years later. Guys, they set up so much. I think I enjoyed it. It did make me cry, but at the end of the day, they threw out the whole damn kitchen sink in terms of, let's show you tiny snippets of everything this trilogy is possibly about to unpack. Like, hello, the placenta cures rage? Anyway, I'm honestly going to see it again, but with the captions on, because Scottish accents are tough to decipher. Like, half the movie, whenever Aaron Taylor Johnson was speaking, I was like, yeah, whatever you say, beautiful. So right now I'm watching the Maniac remake starring your boy Elijah Wood. Guys, I don't think I'm enjoying this remake, which sucks because as the Slack knows, I really enjoyed my first watch of the original Maniac a few days ago. Oh well, can't win them all. Bye!
Hey,
Librarian had a
Hoopa.
hard time parsing the word Irish.
Irish. Kiss me, I'm Irish.
Dude, is there a porn parody for Jaws? It's like,
I mean,
there's gotta be, right? There's just,
I mean, sure.
sure.
I'm sure there is.
Hoopa, what them jaws do.
Deep jaws.
Damn.
I don't know. I also think it's pretty hilarious that apparently the word diva is not gender is gender masculine. So there's divettes for the ladies. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's something I didn't know.
I wouldn't have thought that. Yeah. I take it as fluid. We're all just.
It's gotta be. I mean,
yeah, we're all divas
it's
on
the
this
word
show.
diva. It kind of has a connotation. I love it.
Hell yeah. Interesting. I definitely never thought as Jaws of Jaws to be a queer movie, but now I will. From here on out, every time I watch it, I'm gonna wonder what they're doing below deck. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
Like,
Brody's getting down with the boys. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah.
They're here to play.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the Maniac remake. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember preferring it to the original because the original is so sleazy, grimy, that I had a hard time like getting into it. Have you guys seen those?
No, I haven't seen either one.
I've seen at least half of the original, and I don't remember why it got interrupted, but I thought it was interesting enough. I didn't have a strong feeling towards it. I didn't finish it. Definitely have not seen the Elijah Wood version. Never did.
Understandable.
Well,
You're a hater.
he's not.
Hate on the wood.
Hey, honey, you got some wood.
Damn.
Hell yeah. Thanks for calling in, Librarian. As always, love to hear from you. Next up, we got two actually coming at you from Midnight Mike. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Whoa.
Oh, what's up, Straight Trail Crew? It's Mike from New York, or that Mike, or Midnight Mike. I like that spin you put on it, Juice. I was listening last week and I heard Hydra Bird call me out for calling him out. That was cool. I reached out to him. If anyone here listening to this podcast is not listening to A Cut Above, you should be, because as far as I'm concerned, Cut Above and Straight Chillin' are the two best horror podcasts out there. But I'm calling because last week, or maybe, I think it was last week, Randy said he had went to the DC Warped Tour, and he didn't see a lot of bands that he really liked. But goddamn, man, there were so many good bands there. And I've always been envious of Florida because, like, some of my favorite bands have come out of Florida, like Newfound Glory, Less Than Jake, Yellow Card, and Poison the Well, one of the best hardcore bands out there. And then you also got A Day to Remember. But, man, I hope, Randy, that you saw Ice Nine Kills, because I watched the set on YouTube and they brought Art the Clown out and he was like swinging a baby around by the fucking umbilical cord. Shit was wild. But, yeah, that's really all I got to say. So, no matter what you call me, you can call me Midnight Mike. I don't care, but I'm going to keep calling. So, all right. Later.
Should we jump into the second one?
Yeah.
What's up, Street Chill Crew? Mike from New York again. That Mike. I forgot to say that I'm not that Mike that picked last week's movie, The Monster, which is a fantastic movie. But I just want to clear that up. All right, bye.
Appreciate you.
All right, Midnight Mike is a different Mike.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did not get to see Ice Nine Kills. Like, that was way past my elderly bedtime.
Also, Randy's not a hardcore boy.
I'm really not. You know, like, it's like a lot of those. Like, I'm a ska kid. I'm dorkier than that.
Less Than Jake.
I just never got in. I didn't get to see Less Than Jake. I don't know that they were there that weekend or not, but I did see Aquabats. I saw Streetlight Manifesto.
Hell yeah.
I saw I'm blanking. I saw several ska bands that were kind of the ones that kept me going on there. Like I said, I saw MCR for a minute or two. Those are just not like, those are bands that I like know about, and I know a lot of people have a lot of love for them. They were just tangential to me. I never really embraced them too much. So, you know, I also didn't know until this weekend much about Ice Nine Kills. So I had no idea that there's any sort of relationship to Terrifier. I just saw Art the Clown on a bunch of t-shirts that says Ice Nine Kills. I was like, I don't know if this is like, is this like a legit crossover type? I'm still not sure, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't know. That's all news to me.
They have a song called the art of murder, the art of killing. I don't know. They wrote some song that's all about Art the Clown, and they made this like really long music video for it where he like rips a baby out of somebody or something, and you know kills a bunch of people at a show that they're playing at. And like each music video they make, like kind of, you can like watch them back to back, and it sort of makes like one long kind of story. And whenever Terrifier 3 came out, they rolled that song out, and it had like Art the Clown murdering folks in it. So I guess they got someone dressed up on stage kind of doing that stuff too. And I know they have like a lot of theatrics in their live performance because all of their music is inspired by horror movies basically. So like they dress up in costumes and they have characters come out, and there's like a large visual element to the show. I cannot get into their music. It is not for me, but people really, really like that shit. Like a lot of people. So that's what I know.
Yeah,
probably
clearly
not
that's
me.
the case, and I just don't know.
Just kind of judged them.
You won't like it.
What are you saying, Bob?
I know you well enough to know.
I don't know, man. Now, he might like him out of spite now.
That's true. This is my real. He's gonna have a shirt next show. Like,
we're gonna have a new podcast next week about
Ice Nine Cast.
Ice Nine Cast. Here, dropping
Pod 9
knowledge
kills.
about Arthur Quinn.
Yeah,
You know, Bob was really wrong about me.
Yeah, you got like a face tattoo. Like, I just
Jesus Christ.
You think your friends know you? They just really don't.
Bob, you think I'm gonna damage
How
this
dare
beautiful
you.
work of art?
I know. You'll get it on your fucking asshole, just like Art's
right on the
face.
hole.
Just
His mouth will open as you shit.
this asshole is a work of art. Check it out. Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
She was gorgeous.
My goodness.
That asshole's a fucking Mona Lisa, I tell you what. Yeah, thanks for calling.
Reminds me of, do y'all remember that video where the person has a face but their mouth is
my
an
God.
asshole?
Yes,
That
I
is
do.
one of the
A
most
short film?
disturbing things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is a short
life.
film, and I can't remember what it's called.
Shit is not chill.
Oh man, I used to eat. It's called Eat My Shit. That's right. It's incredible.
Oh man,
Dude,
you know
that-
somebody.
it is so gross to watch.
It's so gross.
That mouth, that
It's
bubble.
really
gum.
fucked
But
up.
buddy, the needle drop into that short is one of the funniest
Dude.
moments of cinema in history.
Oof.
It's got to be. It's so fucking.
It's wild. Wild.
You gotta throw that up on the Slack.
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll put it up.
Thanks for calling, Mike. Again, if you guys want to call and leave a voicemail for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231. You guys have any prompts for next week?
We don't really know for sure what's coming next week, right? So
Yeah, we're
but we know it's
talking
gonna be
about
zombies from the 80s.
the
Bob's
July
pick.
poll winner. Yeah, next week.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that
Well, I
is.
don't know. Just tell us what you think about this movie. This movie is such hot shit right now. Like 28 days later, are you excited for more? Are you disappointed? Are you like? I feel like it's going to have sort of like a polarizing effect as time wears on. Like
Halloween 2018.
I think there's more people that feel like
People
us.
loved and praised that movie,
And
and
they still do.
Which one?
some people hated it.
Still do.
Halloween 2018.
You think you know your
yes.
friends, and here we are.
Halloween, the third of its name.
I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah, call in 904-638-3231 with your thoughts on 28 years later. And if you got thoughts on music, Warped Tour, or otherwise, call
Yeah,
in.
who's some good bands that you're listening to?
Yeah.
Keep us young. Keep them young. Keep Bob and Randy young.
Keep them, not us, them. You.
Yeah. I could tell you guys what music is young and hip, but I just don't think that you will benefit from it.
I love Nine
it's gotta-
Iced Killers. They're my favorite.
I got a podcast about them.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah.
Would you like
Call
to
in.
talk about Sabrina Carpenter with me?
No. She's cool. The kids like her. Yeah, next week we're talking about the winner of the July poll, whatever that is. Make sure that you watch it and get ready for the show. It's probably Return of the Living Dead, you know? Check it out. We're on all the socials. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast. We'll pop right up. And until next week, always keep chilling.
Well, I'm gonna go smear some mud on my ass.